What if your work was meant for more, even if you aren't Christian? In this video, I'm going to explore how you can make your work more meaningful by bringing God into the work that you do, and how you can apply this concept as well to bring more meaning and purpose to everything that you do in the workplace, even if you are not religious or Christian. I'm also going to explore why Christians don't bring their faith into the workplace as well, and hopefully I'll leave you with some ideas that you can go and reflect on, take action on, or implement. So let's dive in. In Luke chapter 5 verse 4 it says, "Launch out into the deep and let down your nets for the catch." In the book The Invasive Kingdom by Pastor Philip Lynn, Pastor Philip Lynn gave the commentary on that Bible verse, saying that, quote, "I believe God is calling us to launch out and make a difference every day of the week. That includes our workplace, and in doing so we fulfill the divine mandate to engage, influence and transform our society." So that's what I'm going to explore in this video today. So first of all, why is it important to bring God into the work that you do? Second, we will explore reasons why people don't bring their faith into work and what they do. And finally, we'll end with what you can do, whether you're a Christian or not, on how you can actually implement the concepts within this video, and ultimately how you can have a much bigger impact through the work that you do. So let's dive in. So first of all, why is it important to bring God into your work? Well, this applies to both Christians and non-Christians, in my opinion. Some people may disagree, but the reason why we need God is because God is timeless, God is infinite, and God is perfect. It is something that we are able to anchor our identity. It's something that we can identify who we are, and anchor who we are to. It's something that is never changing, always there. It's the anchor which we can anchor ourselves to today, 2,000 years ago, 2,000 years into the future. It's that solid foundation. This is important because without it, we anchor our identity and therefore our actions and what we do in something based on our worldly and fleshly desires, which would be influenced heavily by cultural influences. Cultural influences and societal influences change with changing times, and what we see in today's world is very different to what people would have viewed 100 years back, and likewise in 100 years into the future. So everything keeps changing. It results in a form of relativism, which essentially means that we would define what our own success looks like. And if we define what our own success looks like, this is going to change based on how we are feeling in small units of time. And what I've personally experienced myself in the past is I allow my short-term, moment-to-moment emotions, desires and whims and impulses to determine my own self-worth and to set targets and goals that I want to achieve. More importantly and more precisely, what I found in the past for many years was I arbitrarily came up with a goal that I wanted to achieve based on money for freedom and lifestyle specifically, and this was all based on what I saw everybody else doing in the marketplace, and I would then allow my short-term, moment-to-moment emotions, feelings to basically influence what my big goal was. So what happens in the moment-to-moment, which is influenced by a whole bunch of things, even down to the quality of sleep that you had the night before, when you allow these ultra short-term micro decisions that you make to influence what your big picture North Star goal is on a day-to-day basis, naturally you're going to move over here, move over here, move down there, move behind there. But the thing is, without having God at the top as your highest order goal of what you want to pursue, of what you want to achieve, of what you want to anchor your identity in, whenever you move over here, you just realign what you're doing in the present to the new goal that you've set over here. And then a little bit later, you move over this direction as for accumulation and aggregation of the micro decisions and what you do on a day-to-day basis, then influences your perception of what your goals are and what you're trying to do. And then all of a sudden, in several months, you're going in the opposite direction. And because of you're operating on a form of relativism, you're then allowing your moment-to-moment decisions and emotions and everything here to then change what your North Star goal is over here as well. And you keep moving. Well, I don't know if that's true for you, but it was certainly true for me for a long, long time. And as a result of doing that, I felt disillusionment, burnout, stress, poor quality sleep, getting angry for no reason at my wife and child at the time, and doing and behaving in ways that I regret now as a result of this underlying build-up of stress in my core, not really knowing where it came from. And you know, the reason was simply because I did not have a solid anchor on what to anchor my identity in. Let me rephrase that. I didn't have a solid foundation on where to anchor my identity, and it just kept changing and changing and changing. And this became far more apparent after I found that I had achieved a financial target that I've been chasing for several years. All of a sudden, you achieve the goal and everything starts to fall apart again, or at least that's what happened in my experience. And then I tried to come up with a next goal based on based on money and making more money, and financial goals based on what the world is telling me I should do. And I just completely and utterly fell apart inside, lacked focus, and just ended up spinning in circles. And what I've just described there just basically got worse and worse and worse. So the reason why you need God in your life, whether it's physically God, as Christians would believe, or whether it would be some kind of transcendent ideal, based on the concept of God, if you're not religious. I'm not here to judge either way, I'm just explaining how this works. The reason why you need it is quite simply because it provides that solid anchor, it provides that solid foundation, it provides something that is unmoving, unchanging. It has always been the same, it is the same, and it always will be the same, what you're aiming towards. And therefore, you can always realign yourself with your ultimate North Star, the transcendent ideal, the pursuit of becoming Christ-like in what you do, the pursuit of doing your work which honours and glorifies and pleases God in what you do. And that means that you will always know where you stand. Yes, you will have your short-term emotions and whims influence what you do. It happens to me all the time. I always have self-doubt and I'm always questioning myself. But what I find now is I just simply acknowledge the emotions for what they are, passive emotions, where one day I would feel super confident and that everything I'm doing is going to work out. I'm so confident the business vision is going to come to fruition. I'm excited for it. I have complete and utter peace in everything I do. And then literally the next day comes and then I'm filled with self-doubt. I'm questioning what I'm doing. I wonder why I'm doing what I'm doing. Both of these are emotions. And before placing God at top as my highest order goal, what this means is I would allow the feelings on the first day to influence what my North Star goal was on a subconscious level, and then likewise I would allow the feelings on the second day, which would be more negative and based on self-doubt, to subconsciously affect the North Star vision, and that would then result in me giving instructions to team members and basing what I do on a day-to-day basis based on those emotional whims, which are opposites and contradictory. And then on a day-to-day basis, I'm checking things and directing the team and telling them to do things, and then asking me questions and things, and it's all based on my emotions. And emotions aren't real, they're just feelings that just come and go and just all of these things. It's not objective. We've got at the top as the ultimate goal, changes, and I can always sit down, have quiet reflection and acknowledge the feelings for what they are, and I can root my identity, what I'm trying to do in my big picture vision, in some kind of a big goal that's rooted in a solid foundation. And that's why you need to have God in everything that you do. So the second point here is, if that's the case, then why aren't Christians bringing their faith and God into the workplace more? So that's actually quite an interesting question, and it's something that I've thought about a lot. And I think there's a lot of reasons, and I'm going to explore all the different reasons in the next video. But what I actually suspect is the case is it's something that I call the spirit of the marketplace, the spirit of the workforce, the spirit of business, and that spirit is completely secular. And not that there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but the consequences of being in a secular workforce where the marketplace is dominated by making money. Let me pause. Sorry about that. We have a bit of a bug problem where we live, and I just noticed that a bug came through the air conditioner, so I just had to go and get rid of it. Anyway, where was I? So I was talking about I was talking about the spirit of the workforce and the spirit of the marketplace, which is entirely transactional, and this is a direct result of a secular environment, which Essentially, in business, the goals in business most of the time is you want to set measurable goals, set measurable KPIs, key performance indicators, set targets, number of sales, number of calls you have, number of prospects you've interacted with, all of these metrics, and in other businesses as well, it's always your amount of revenue that you make, the amount of profit that you make, percentage profit margins, percentage growth each quarter or annually, and this is ultimately what the way that the marketplace works. Now, if we look at the stock market, for example, with the big companies that have major shareholders, if you have shareholders in your company, the way that the company operates is beholden to the people, the shareholders, in many ways. And the reason why people buy shares in the company is because they think the price is going to go up. That is ultimately it. And there's a lot of the time, there's no loyalty to a company. It's that if the stock goes up, they buy, and if the stock goes down, they're going to sell. Let me rephrase that. If they think the stock price is going to go up, they'll buy. If they think the stock price is going to go down, they'll sell. So there's no real loyalty to the companies in many ways, in the way that it operate in the stock market. And then the way that a public company would operate in the stock market would therefore be based on the amount of money that they make in order to get more people to buy the shares. They have a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders that own it, especially the big ones. So from the very top down, it's all based on making money, essentially. And so making money in these big companies is the North Star. And if we then go down a step below that and we look at smaller private companies, the conversations that happen among entrepreneurs who start up, and the reasons why people would want to start a business is some of them would like to build a business so they can sell it in the future. That's one reason why people start a business, with the intention of selling it in the future. Intrinsically, the purpose here is I want to build this business so I can then sell it to get money in my bank in the future, based on making money. Other people that are more ambitious, and they have better skills, of course, they may ultimately want to build a company that goes public in the future, where it's traded on the stock exchange. Again, in order to do that, you need to focus on making money and profit margins. You need to focus on these KPIs in order to reach that level where you can go through the process of turning the company public. Other people want to start their businesses so they can have money for freedom and lifestyle, which was me, and then they want to build the business, based around that. But in order to have freedom and lifestyle, the number one goal is making money, in order to give yourself the funds and the money for it. And then there's other people that would want to start a business, and essentially these people, and I know a lot of these people, and I've worked with a lot of these clients, is they want to have a business where maybe they won't necessarily admit it to themselves, but it's so they can own their own job, so they're in control of their own destiny. And in many ways with this, the purpose of their business is then to hit their monthly and quarterly financial goals for their living expenses and to live the life that they want. In each of these examples here, the main primary target is making money. That is essentially the spirit of the marketplace. And so there would be a small percentage of businesses afterwards which would want to operate in the marketplace as a way to impact others. And there would be two types of those, or at least two types. I'm only going to talk mention two types here. The first would be that they are not religious, and then they are building their businesses based around some narrative or something that they want, and that kind of results in a lot of what we see with philanthropy and whatnot. And intrinsically, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but it is a slippery slope, because without having God at the top or some kind of transcendent ideal, philanthropy and doing things for the benefit of others often becomes its own, it becomes a form of idolatry, and then that naturally leads to pride, because the sin of pride comes out, and you want to take responsibility for it, and you like to be the person that's the face of it all. And there's countless examples of people like this, which I'm not going to name, but I'm sure you know what I mean. And then there'd be the other side of these things, which would be like the Christian entrepreneurs, which may want to do a business for kingdom impact, or operate in a way that benefits, that has impact more so, that has a wider impact than what they specifically do. So if we were to look at those different categories I've just described, 4 of them are directly based on the pursuit of making money as their North Star. The doing things for impact and philanthropy and whatnot, well, this naturally arises after you've hit some kind of financial success, and then you start to search for meaning and purpose in what you do, and then that's why you want to do things for the benefit of others. I once spoke to a prospect, which I'm very glad I didn't work with. He had just sold a business in Silicon Valley, made a bunch of money from that, I don't know how much, and then he wanted to reinvest in the next business to have impact on people. And his whole concept based around the business, the big idea, the big theme was peace, of all things. Well, I spoke to this guy, and he came across as being a bit arrogant in the way he was communicating and his mannerisms, and there was a lot of pride in what he did, and now he wants to launch a business based around promoting peace, without God, because without any foundation to it other than a Silicon Valley entrepreneur who sold a business, made a bunch of money, and now wants to do something for the impact of many other people, where deep down he wanted to be the face of it. I think I strongly suspect that business was doomed to fail, because peace is such a vague concept, especially when it's not anchored in anything solid, eternal kind of foundation thing. But anyway, I digress. And then with the Christian entrepreneurs that want to do something for kingdom impact, when you want to focus on doing things for the benefit of others in a way that aligns with Jesus' teaching and aligns with biblical principles, well, a lot of the time you need to have some kind of financial security in place first, which is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You need to put food and drink on the table and have a roof over your head before you start going off and talking about the meaning of life and all of these things, and searching for meaning and purpose in what you do. So again, in order for the Christian businesses to pursue kingdom impact over what they do, they need to have that level of financial security first, in the personal lives and in the business. And so with those examples there, you can see that a substantial percentage of the marketplace is focused on making money as their North Star, and as a result that becomes what their anchor is, and then that influences your decisions in everything that you do, which ultimately degrades humans into commodities. I did this myself a lot, where I would market to clients, my whole value is based on the return on investment I can get you. I would hire freelancers based on cost per hour and the return on investment they could do me. Everything I did in my marketing and lead generation was based on making money, and so it influenced the decisions that I made. I spent close to a decade studying, learning, training, investing in coaching, practical experience as a freelancer, working with clients, having my own marketing agency. Everything that I didn't learn was based on the spirit of the marketplace, which is making money. And you need to proactively resist this influence in order to fight against it. You have to be willing to swim against the tide. You have to be willing to see what everyone else around you is doing and be prepared to do something different. And it's very difficult for people to do that, especially when everything is based on how much money you make. Everywhere you look in the marketplace, on television, on ads, in culture, is ultimately based around money, wealth, how much money you have, what kind of car you have, how big your house was, what kind of watch you wear, what kind of clothes you wear. And I think that is so strong and so deeply ingrained that the Christians are going to go to church on Sunday for 2 hours and then they're going to come out, and then they are influenced by this transactional spirit of the world, of the marketplace, of everything, and naturally it's going to influence you. You have to proactively fight against it. And personally, I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why Christians do not bring their faith into work. And that's it. I don't want to ramble on. The next part is how to actually do it, and I'll add a little side part in here, why you should actually bring your faith into work, and if you're not a Christian, why you should bring some kind of transcendent ideal, which would be the pursuit of Christ-likeness, or a variation of the pursuit of Christ-likeness in what you do. I'll try and explain why you should do it. So, first of all, for me, my story was based on a search for meaning and purpose, and deep philosophical questions like that. And I kind of I searched in the materialistic world for so long to find an answer, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't find meaning and purpose in the work that I did in my marketing agency. After I'd achieved some level of financial security in my personal life, the pursuit of a financial target where it gave me financial security, this pursuit was meaningful in itself, especially when I didn't have any kind of money throughout my entire life. Achieving a financial milestone becomes significant. The pursuit of it is inherently meaningful, and you want to remove burdens of financial stress as fast as possible because you become enslaved to financial worries. Finances basically dominate everything that you do. It's just not a pleasant thing to be involved with. So naturally, financial security and financial comfort and whatever it is a meaningful goal to pursue in your personal life and in your business. But then for me, when I achieved it, that's when my search for meaning and purpose came, and I could not find any meaning and purpose in chasing the next financial goal. It just didn't come. And so that's what brought me on my journey where I became Christian, and developing the frameworks and everything that I did and what I'm currently doing. And the reason why it's important to pursue Christ-likeness in what you do, to have God as part of what you do in work and business, it's because it gives everything you do intrinsic meaning. The solution would be the pursuit of Christ-likeness, which is you set your aim and intention to operate on extravagant love, humble service, the pursuit of excellence, having integrity, radical generosity, and it's the pursuit of these attributes of becoming Christ-like which you implement on a day-to-day basis. When you implement on a day-to-day basis, you are making meaningful progress towards doing something which you know in your heart is for the benefit of others. For Christians, it's you're doing things that pleases God, that glorifies God, and you know in your heart that operating on those principles, what you're doing is right. If you're not a Christian, you can still operate on the same principles. It'd just be the pursuit of excellence in your ability, excellence in your character, excellence in your integrity. You do things, extravagant love, which you do things for the benefit of others rather than making money. You do things based on humble service, where every interaction that you have in your business, you view it through the lens of what can I learn from this situation? How can I be a blessing to as many people as possible? And you embrace the infinite ignorance, the infinity of what you don't know, of how you can improve, which is what Jordan Peterson talks about. You embrace that, and it puts you on a lifelong quest to become the best person you can be, to become the best, the best at whatever it is that we currently do. It's the pursuit of excellence, which is what develops your skills, and all of this in itself gives intrinsic meaning and purpose to what you do, and that is essentially why you should do it, both as a Christian and as a non-Christian. And the way to actually apply this is the pursuit of extravagant love, excellence, integrity, humble service, radical generosity in what you do, and that's it. So to conclude this video here, the title was, what if your work was meant for more, even if you aren't Christian? And the answer to that statement, or the answer that we've developed through me explaining it here, is the reason why you need your work to be meant for more than just the pursuit of money, because it gives you want to find intrinsic meaning and purpose in the work that you do. You want to try and find intrinsic meaning and purpose in the mundane tasks that you do on a day-to-day basis, and when you do that, that's where you find the joy, fulfillment, passion for what you do. It's what will help you through the tough times, because without the fulfillment, passion, joy in the mundane tasks, when things get hard, as they inevitably will, and you're faced with pressures and you're faced with the challenges that life throws at you, you're going to just crumble and close your business, or you're just going to get stressed out and burned out and disillusioned. And for me, because I couldn't find any intrinsic meaning in my marketing agency, I basically shut the doors and said enough is enough. Couldn't get it to work. I was tired of putting money into it and just had enough, and didn't want to pursue it. Whereas now, by anchoring my identity in God and the pursuit of Christ-like in what I do, I find intrinsic meaning in everything that I'm doing. And with the videos that I record, at the moment, I really don't care if people are watching or not, because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm enjoying talking things out, deepening my own understanding, deepening my own knowledge, getting better at what I do, and that's the way that I view things, rather than at the time of doing this video here, I've probably recorded, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 videos. I've potentially put 30 hours into recording videos, and I don't think a single person's watched them, which can be very, very demotivating if you are judging and basing your own self-worth on worldly metrics in a transactional world. How many people are viewing it, how many people are converting. And when I did that in the past, instead of having the pursuit of Christ-likeness in what I do, the pursuit of excellence, I stopped recording videos, justified it as why if no one's watching it. Whereas now I'm recording more videos on a week-to-week basis than I did at the start, and it doesn't bother me if anyone watches, because I know I'm deepening my own understanding. I'm getting a little bit better at what I do every time, and all of this is going to shape who I am as a person, who I am with my own skills and ability, into someone that will be able to articulate and communicate these complex topics in a way that people can understand in the future. And that is why you should do it. And that's all I've got for you. See you next time.